Hi, everybody. I'm DJ Foster here at Grand Valley State football practice on Thursday, November 3rd, as the Lakers get ready for their road finale this season against Northwood this Saturday night. I'm here with Grand Valley State head football coach Matt Mitchell. Mitch, you guys are coming off your fifth straight win, a good 24-20 win over Michigan Tech. So it's 5 in a row now for you guys. You're 6-3 overall, 5-3 in the GLIAC. Doesn't seem like the team has changed much in the past 5 games. Is this team really that much better than the one that started off 1-3?
Well, obviously from a talent standpoint, no, we're the same guys rolling out that we had been, and the difference I think is our execution. Obviously, the turnover thing has swung in the other direction.
Right.
I believe at one point we were -11, and we've got that a little bit more in our favor now. So between the turnovers and the execution, and some of the things that happened, and the level of opponents, we had a run in there a little bit with Tiffin and some of those teams that weren't as good as the Hillsdale and Indianapolis, and as you're seeing the league standings bear out. Obviously Indianapolis and Hillsdale have done well after beating us. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but definitely we're playing better football on both sides of the ball, and probably the most important thing, we're taking care of the ball.
You were down 20-10 at halftime this past Saturday against Michigan Tech. You outscored the Huskies 14-0 in the second half. Your defense played tremendous. You've had some time now to kind of reflect on that, look back at the tape and everything. What did you see that your defense did so well in the second half?
I thought we kept getting pressure on the quarterback and controlling the line of scrimmage. The first half, it wasn't like we weren't doing that, but we got way more consistency out of our defensive line, just way more pressure. The one pick to Reggie Williams was a result of Andre Thomas hitting the quarterback. And then I think our guys played better man coverage in the second half. We knew that we were going to have to cover some people down and get a little bit more aggressive in our calls in order to get the ball back to our offense, because we were down 2 scores. And our kids, they stepped up to that challenge. We played better in the back end and man coverage, and that allowed our defensive line to get a little bit more time, and we got home more and/or controlled the run some.
Your defense will have a stiff test this week with Northwood, just because there's no team like them that runs their offense. They're only 2-7, and they're only averaging about 14 points a game. But the triple option, the Woodbone, is pretty difficult to stop. What's going to be the biggest key for your defense in terms of the discipline, staying focused on the task at hand, and how tough is Northwood's offense to stop?
Well, it's tough from this perspective that if you're out of position, it's going to be a big play. I try to make the analogy to our team that this is like Lake Erie, that there's not going to be a lot of gang tackling, not guys running the ball like there was against Ferris and even Michigan Tech at times. This is going to be a lot of them have guys have to be one-on-one tackles. Against Lake Erie, for the first 3 quarters, we didn't do a very good job of tackling. So, the discipline portion of things, being in the right gaps, being where you got to be, taking care of your responsibilities. But we did that against Lake Erie. We didn't finish plays. So we've been having good practices. It's still going to come down to our kids got to tackle, and we got to finish in some one-on-one situations, because those will occur on Saturday.
Last year when you played the Timberwolves, you were up 21-0 after the first quarter. You held on for a 35-21 win. There was rushing all over the place. The 2 teams combined ran for 667 total yards. There was 3 guys that ran for 100 yards. Kyle McMahon ran for another 90 or 92 yards. How much do you look at tape of last year's game? Obviously, the team and a lot of the personnel is probably the same, but do you really look at that a lot during the week?
Well, from a defensive perspective, we take a look at it because, obviously Northwood's going to look at the tape and see the ways they exploited us, and they did a good job of getting some of our defensive linemen cut, and a fullback was hitting up the middle. And we had our safeties and stuff running to the pitch, and the fullback doesn't get tackled. He runs for some big yardage gains. So it's one of those deals where, we'd stop, and then, a run would pop. And so we've kind of taken a look at some of the things that they hurt us with a little bit last year. I'm sure that, the flip side, our offense has looked at how Northwood had defended us. I'm sure Northwood's defensive staff is looking at that tape and trying to figure out what are some ways we can better to contain, Grand Valley's run game. So there's probably a lot of things going on both sides of the ball in terms of looking at last year's tape and making some adjustments off things that hurt you.
You had over 350 rushing yards against Northwood in last year's game. Their defense this year is still kind of porous, it looks like. They're near the bottom half of the conference in a lot of defensive statistics. So what's going to be the key for your offense this weekend?
It's going to be execution, taking care of the ball. If we can manage what they're going to do, because they're going to take some chances with some pressure and manage that stuff and get our plays off, then we'll have success. If we don't, if we're confused by what Northwood is getting and/or we don't do a very good job blocking, catching, throwing the ball, then we're going to be in trouble. So I think it's all about us making sure that we're in good plays and making sure our coordinator gets our kids and our quarterback, get our team into good plays, don't run into bad looks. And then we have those opportunities, making sure they're executing so that we can get what we can get.
Grand Valley State heads to Midland, Michigan this weekend for a 12 o'clock noon start against the Northwood Timberwolves. Mitch, thanks for your time today. Best of luck this weekend.
Yep.
Thanks for watching the Grand Valley Sports Network.